Okay, Monique, it's another Friday, and we're going to have a quick look at another feature within Vigilance, and that's the training register. Under Section 57 of the Act, it's required, and certainly when an auditor arrives on your site, they're going to want to see evidence that you have done satisfactory training and documented it for you and your compliance staff around everything AML compliance. So how does that work?
It's very easy to find in Vigilance. Just go up to the top menu and click on the Staff button. And here we see a staff training register with quite a lot of data that I've been entering while I've been testing this.
Right.
So we'll just go straight into adding, showing
Sounds
you how
good.
easy it is to add a new training course. So say we've just done a course, which is a CDD webinar.
Yep.
And it took 45 minutes, and we choose the type of training, all the different ways you can do.
That list.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm going to choose the webinar one, and it was Vigilance that did the webinar. It was CDD.
So that's a short description of what it was about.
Yep. And I'm going to put in a website on where they found out about the
Right, so that's
webinar.
just more evidence from an audit perspective. This really did take place.
Yeah, and I'm going to choose the formal option because it was advertised and it was a webinar that you needed to register for. So would consider that formal.
Right.
And it was CPD.
So it was CPD?
Continuing professional development. So the webinar had interaction and feedback.
So in this case, we could use that as the reporting entity to collect those hours again's that. Right.
For each person that attended who registered and
So how do we get the people in there?
This is a list of the people who are registered users of Vigilance.
Right. So they're like the compliance team, obviously.
Yeah, but there may be some other users or some other people who work for the company who are not users of Vigilance.
But are involved in the AML process somewhere.
Yeah, so what we can do is we can add their names in here, separated by commas.
Yep.
So just keep listing all of the names of the people. Click the Save button, and here I've got 4 new records that have been added to
So you've just entered that one form and you've added 4 people in one pass.
Yes.
That's great.
And so
that's actually pretty impressive.
It is. Saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Once the certificates come back, once the certificates come back for the CPD, for example, they can be attached as
further evidence for audit. So it could be a certificate, it could be the training documentation. Exactly. So the other benefit of that is that you can go back historically, and if you want, you could find their original documentation or training PDFs or whatever it might have been. Yep, PowerPoint shows. Right. Great.
The cool thing you can do with this information in this grid is you can drag the column up here, and you can find out what all the courses are that the training that each person's done.
Based on staff training on that one.
Yeah, so I can see that Penny has done all of these courses, and this is how she did the training and who provided the training.
So I could drag and drop a course name up there.
Yes, that's right. So I could get rid of staff name and instead put the course name up there. And now I can see, these are the people who did that webinar. But other people, Penny and Monique, have done the PEP check course.
Right. That's pretty cool. And notes can be added again as well as attaching documents.
Yep.
So there's plenty of scope there for lots of detail, as much as you want, really, which, as we know, is important for everything AML compliant. That's great.
So nice, easy to use. Edit a record and make any changes you might need to put in there.
Yep.
If you want to add some more.
So tell me about the red exclamation marks there on those records. Is it a bit like something not compliant or?
That's one where maybe I put in the details of the course that I've done. It hasn't been verified by the compliance officer yet.
Right.
So
you've got that formal piece, if you want it, that the AML officer doesn't have to go and crash all this information, as slick as it is, but they can go back through and just sign off that they'll witness these.
So I'm logged in as Jason, and Jason is the compliance officer, and so has the user permission to verify the training.
But somebody else could have done that, and then Jason could just jump in and go, great.
So as the compliance officer, I can look down this list here and find all the ones that haven't been verified yet and just double check and verify them all.
That's great. Again, from an audit perspective, that the compliance officer or AML officer is actually citing this stuff.
Right. Yeah. And once it's been verified or approved in this case, if anybody tries to edit it and like bump up the hours, for example, save it, it goes back to not verified again. Right. So the compliance officer would catch it.
Okay, great. Good. So it's got some safety nets. Yeah. Awesome.
Easy to use and really important to have this information saved for your auditor.
Yeah. And it's there historically for information for you to go back and maybe pull some records. Awesome. Well done.
Okay. So we'll finish